Hello and welcome back, you fine humans. My name is Dventrix, and today we are going to be looking about how to play a front line, or how to play the front line to your advantage specifically. In this replay, we are on the map Dead Rail, and in one of my favorite tanks, the Tiger 1. Now, the Tiger 1 is not renowned for its armor, and typically it should not be on the front line, especially when it's bottom tier. But in this video, I do, and I'm effective in it. And I really like this video because it shows that, just because a tank isn't designed for a role, it doesn't mean that it cannot fulfill it in the right situations. And that's what I want to highlight today. This tank has really, it suffered a little bit from power creep when they were bringing all the light tanks, but then they really maxed out its mobility to like 40 kilometers an hour. So now it's one of the best heavy tanks at this tier. I would say comparable to the IS or the T29. It's a very strong contender, and it's more like a heavium than an actual heavy. Now in this tank, or in this battle, we're all pushing up here, trying to, get some nice sniping shots, trying to get some vision, and hopefully trying to have a battle here, but it turns out the enemy team is not here. And I'm going to be the kind of buffoon, and I could stay up here, and I could, get some shots off with my great gun that this thing has. Unlike the IS, it is quick reloading, very accurate, and has high penetration. Now, Centurion 1 tells us to chill, and that would be a good idea, but I see that most of my team is up there, and I'm like, we need some of the spots. So I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to push, but I'm not going to push too far. I'm just going to push as far enough until I get to some hard cover that I can hide behind. Now, when you're in the front lines, hard cover is super important. Since you're in the front lines, pretty much anything that you do will get you spotted. So it's so incredibly important to make sure that you have a building or a rock that you can hide behind and that nothing can shoot you through. Now this glacial right here, I'm going to try to put a couple shots in him, but then again, that strong frontal armor in that tank is hard to penetrate. Luckily, the second one does go in, and I pull behind this building. Now, if that glacial wanted to shoot me, he couldn't, because I'm stuck behind hard cover. Nothing can penetrate that building. Now I'm going to pop out, shoot a couple shots until, it's no longer safe for me to be out here, and then I'm going to pull back and I'm going to hide. Something else you can do, I just got spotted there, so I kind of made a misplay by staying out too long, but I wasn't punished for it, which is not very good. And I'm just going to start shooting at that T25.
And I'm going to try to get a tracking shot, which is also another very important thing to do in the front line. When you're in the front line, the main thing that you need to worry about is just staying alive. Because you are at the tip of the spear, and when you're at the tip of the spear, dealing damage isn't always, the most important thing for you to do. And it's really important to, stay alive, to distract the enemy, and to, be sure that people, who are supporting you can put effective fire into the targets. So either spotting them, keeping them distracted, which is a big thing too. Here I try to angle up against those tanks over there. I do manage to catch one. The Tiger 1 is not renowned for its armor. And I'm going to pull, and I'm going to go straight into this tank, or to this train right here, not a tank. And I'm just going to try to use my view range and try to spot the crowd down there. Now, I haven't done a lot of damage this game, but I have done a lot of spotting damage. So I'm going to push over here, and now I see that most of my team's coming up, and I'm already in the front lines. I don't have to travel too far to actually, put some effective fire into these tanks over here. If you've been watching the battle, you could see how many times the light bulb went off, and that's because every chance I have, I go and I reset camo to go and pop my shot off. And, a lot of this stuff right here is a lot like peekabooming, which is going behind cover, shooting, and then pulling back behind cover. And peekabooming is a huge thing about being on the front lines. And I do manage to take a shot from this Tiger, and I'm just going to DPM and trade hit points down, trade health. I do manage to track him right there, which is a great thing. Always go for tracks, but he's already dead. I was really keen on ramming that RU, but a little bit of bad driving stopped me from doing that, and I ended up shooting him. Now, this battle, we pretty much spent the entire game on the front lines with all the enemies in front of us in a tank with relatively little armor, and it does quite well for us. We get second class, 2,000 damage, and top on experience. Now, this tank right here is another tier 7 tank, is the 1815A, which is a premium tank destroyer and one of the best tank destroyers at this tier. I think the thickest part of this armor is 256 millimeters of frontal flat armor, which is insane. The Moz doesn't even have that much armor. And this tank is just so good at, either sniping or being at the front lines. This tank does have a couple cupolas on top, which you need to worry about. And it's really slow, and people can flank you easily. but it still has massive amounts of armor, and it can play the front lines. Now here I kind of think about, being a tank destroyer and staying at the back, but I see how much my team is actually back there, and I realized I need to push. So I'm going to push, and I'm going to go forward, because this tank is fantastic at bouncing shells and getting up in people's businesses, as long as you have people behind you so they can't flank you. And that's something important too in a tank destroyer. For a tank destroyer that, can be in the front lines, it's important to be in the front lines, because if you're in the front lines, that means you have your entire enemy team beat, or your entire friendly team, my bad, behind you. Then you won't get flanked, because if you do get flanked, you'll have your team behind you to go and help you. Now here, I do not play the best, but it becomes effective. I'm going to push up here, and I'm going to try to stop all tanks who are going across over to the mill over there. And I'm going to use this great gun that this tank has. It fires so fast. 3.4 seconds reload time on this gun. Now, it's not the most accurate, but it has a wide gun arc, which is huge for tank destroyer, and it has pretty decent penetration. I do manage to take a shot there, but there are 4 enemy tanks in front of me or on the side. But I'm just going to put shot after shot after shot, and there's going to be these tanks, and they're all going to try to penetrate me, but they can't. And the thing is, I'm being aggressive right now. And being aggressive is another big thing about being on the front line, is psychological warfare as I go. If they see this massive thing of red going toward you, or going toward them, they're going to be less likely, and they're going to freak out. And here I'm going to go, and I'm going to try to track that tiger. I do take a shot from that T-29, and it's kind of hard to angle against 3 enemy tanks right now, but it's all good. I'm going to go, and I'm going to continue to shoot that T-29, since he's the one I'm most worried about, since he's been able to penetrate me. And again, he's going to go and shoot. Oh no, he's going to miss that time and bounce. And I'm just going to go, and I'm going to roll up. The Tiger 1 is having the hardest time trying to penetrate me, but I'm just going to go, and I'm going to out DPM this T-29 right here. He does manage to penetrate me then, but I'm going to push over, and I'm going to shoot him again. And just being aggressive is what's important about being in the front lines. You need to be aggressive, and you need to support your team, or give the ability for your team to support you. That's more like it. Now, in this battle, we don't do the highest amount of damage, but we do bounce a lot of shells, we get first class, and we do 2,400 damage, which is absolutely fantastic. So I just want to thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully this video helped you. My name's Dventrix, and see you later.